Doing well. Just did a little 5 mile stroll outside and listened to you and Beer Cop talk to one another last night. So it was a good time. Excited to talk about some of our Block 2 games and spend some time talking about Block 1 with you guys as well.
It's a life and world of contrasts around here. On one hand, I'm here. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I've got to look forward to what I hear is the best new podcast in the NDL that took place last night that I'm saving as a treat for myself a little bit later. But on the other hand, it's 9:43 a.m. EST on November 22nd, and Mike fucking Norvell is still the head coach of Florida State. So life is pain.
Yeah, I don't know how he's still a coach either, Penguin. But no, doing well. I'm glad to be back. Missed last week, but here and ready to go in week 2.
Hey, NC State sucks too. We just suck worse, okay? I don't want to hear it. Those punts, oh my God, wow. If you haven't seen the end of that game just as a football fan, you need to go watch it just because you'll see things
The
that
first
just
one was incredible how far it
crazy.
went backwards. How it hit the dude's helmet and the punter recovered it. I've never seen that in watching football my entire life.
That'll get replayed for decades. It's fantastic. I can't wait to it popping up on my screen again and again and again.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yep.
Hey, Drew, so by the way, USC is playing its first meaningful game, I feel like, in what feels like decades sometimes today against Oregon. They're 10.5-point underdogs, but it's technically a playoff game. I mean, if they win out, a lot of people think they would hit the 11 seed, so that's exciting.
Dude, and you know what about that is like, oh, expanded playoff, this, that. Come on, man. Tell me that the expanded playoff hasn't made the regular season actually mean more, despite people insisting it would devalue it. Again,
yeah.
And it shows in our league too. How many teams do we talk about in those first couple of votes, and how many people say, well, so-and-so should be. Man, I think it's good for the league. It's good for in real life college football. It just generates people talking about the sport. It's good stuff.
Yeah. It gave 2 lost teams a chance to remain a part of something too. Does that mean like Ohio State won it all with 2 losses last year, right? Like in the past, they would have been eliminated, done, no chance. So that's what makes the later part of the season still meaningful for like 20 plus teams.
Yeah. And I know we all rail on the G5 access, right? But again, that keeps that entire subset of college football engaged. Well, the entire, obviously, but South Florida, the perceived playoff team for a while, they go out and lose again. Tulane, the same thing happens in our league. So a lot of good games early in the NDL season here. A lot of good stuff to talk about. I'm excited to talk about the games we got on deck today. Let's see. Homie posted the top 25 results already from the first block of voting. Do we want to go ahead and get into that, fellas?
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Right. So, Penguin, what's your initial reaction to the week 2 coaches poll?
Well, it's kind of what I expected for the most part. Not a ton of movement in most places. I'm a little surprised by some things, like one thing that will never cease to amaze me is how a head-to-head win doesn't have the impact I feel like it should. Because I go look at the poll, 22 Tennessee, 25 Kansas State. That's just it's just silly. I don't know. I feel this is the time of the season there should be a drastic amount of movement, because then we did that first poll was like, hey, this is just what I think. This is all based on opinion and what I've seen before. Now we've got a little bit of, actual results. I feel like this poll should look drastically different than the first week did. And it really doesn't, but I'm not shocked, just a little disappointed.
And Penguin, even think about this. You mentioned Kansas State, Tennessee. That was at least a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Baylor smacked Georgia by 3 touchdowns, and he's still a spot behind him in the polls. To me, that's the worst one.
That is a very good point. Yep, you're right.
Now let me jump in.
That blows my mind.
Let me jump in for 1 second. Some people submitted their polls, myself included, before that game got played. So
that's very good. Very good point, Pat.
Yeah,
That's
so that is definitely would have switched them.
Mhm.
I had Kansas State, I think, ranked 14th or 15th in my poll. A big win against Tennessee, started off undefeated. I put them way up there, probably some Big 12 bias. And then Oklahoma was a bigger mover for me as well. Oklahoma, I think I had it like 11th or 10th. Definitely ahead of myself at 12th. I think I had them one spot behind Big Mike. Ahead of Duke, though, ahead of Clemson, ahead of Georgia, ahead of Baylor, because the win over Tech was convincing.
It was. He came out. He was angry, like almost like he wants to take that team from him.
Hey, you know what I mean? And then I come and go when it comes to people not having a game played after the first block. I do know that things obviously come up, so I don't move too many people down. But other than that, I don't see too much wrong with this. Miami, I think we all owe them an apology on the show. Gave Notre Dame. That was probably the game of the week. That was probably the best game that was played. So I would have normally said I'm not sure how he was ranked, but that's why cup games really sometimes you really can't base what we see on cup games. I think he lost to one of the Louisiana schools, maybe ULM or Louisiana, in a cup game, and then gives Notre Dame on the road like the game of the year so far. So you just never know what's going to happen around here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that's him overachieving or if he's going to resurrect himself to how he was earlier in the season. Because there was a time early in the playoff discussion where Miami was right there in the thick of it till they went on that skid at the end of the season.
I watched him play. Yeah, he played a flawless game. It just was one of those things. Whoever has the ball last is going to win type thing, and that was definitely the biggest surprising game for me, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess we really can't be too critical, I suppose, of this poll because, like you said, a lot of stuff happened afterwards, or a lot of games still not played. The poll really won't make sense probably till the other side of Thanksgiving when we've got enough games played and we really know more about who these teams truly are.
Absolutely.
I do have a question. I'm curious what you guys think. So on one side of it, you see Michigan with a big win move up, Oklahoma with a big win move up. Obviously, Georgia moves down. But we all know Georgia talent-wise is a top 25 team, probably still a top 25 coach too, despite the record. But point being, as Penguin said, and something I had talked about, I know RB feels different, but at this early in the season is when I would expect as well to see a lot more poll movement, again, because a ranking should be based on merit, not future looking, right? So I voted a G5 team or two in there, full well knowing that I'm probably going to take them out at the end of the season. But again, we're a merit based and they've won when others haven't. Is anybody surprised to still see Georgia in there at 16?
At 16, yeah. I mean, I had him at 21. I mean, I agree. It's two good losses. I mean, he lost to two good teams, Smitty and then Baylor's a good team as well and a good coach. I'm with you though. I think I only had one G5 team. Well, Washington State counts as not a G5, I guess, but the one I'm looking forward to watching just off a win over NC State, who was a playoff team last year, was Pirate at East Carolina. Right, I had them in there at number 25. I think that's a good win. He's 2-0. And I think he has his team that he knows. And I think that's a team I know we may talk about this later, but that's a team to watch out for in the American because, when a guy knows his team and has the team he likes, it makes him a little more dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
Absolutely. Love that point.
But you do see Boise in there. Their G5 team, obviously, sliding in there. They weren't ranked at the beginning of the year, I don't believe, correct?
No, they weren't.
Yeah. I played him and Texas Tech on the road this block, little number 20 and 21 back to back. Fun game.
I mean, I've got ECU in my top 25 as well. Boise was a team I left just on the cutting room floor myself, but they were very close personally. And I've got a little bias in there because the Pirates are my are my pick who I have confidence in, and I'm trying not to jinx, even though I'm saying it, to be a playoff team this season. So 2-0, yeah, I fully believe in them, and they're going to be in my poll. One team dropped out for me that I had, but I mean, I guess could get back in given their schedule, including a game we'll talk about later, is Central Michigan. Only win to start the season, but that loss could almost go away if they get a win in this next block over a certain team.
Yeah, I think if I would have resubmitted my poll after the Georgia Baylor game, I would have had Georgia right between 23 and 25. I mean, obviously, I put Smitty second, okay, because of the two teams that he beat in the preseason so far, or the pre-conference. Vandy and Georgia. I mean, those are two quality wins. So I have him at 2. So to lose to in my opinion, the second best team, and then to lose to Jumper, which, by the way, on the road at Baylor, I put, like it was talked about in the chat, please don't bring up home field advantage of Baylor in the live chat ever again. I would probably move him back to like 23rd, 24th, 25th.
Yeah, I would agree with that placement. If I had mine to do again, I would do something very similar.
Yeah.
So it's not one of our games we're talking about, but that Georgia-Tennessee game coming up this next block. Ooh, both of them sitting in a disappointing spot already to start the season. Mm-hmm. Not only does the loser of that probably out of the conference race, but it's got to be on the hot seat for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think if Georgia loses one more game, I think they lose it's just how it works. I think you lose the team.
But his schedule too. He's got them all. I mean, out of conference, he also plays Clemson, and then in conference, and he's got Georgia Tech. In conference, he's got Texas, Florida, and Alabama, as well as Tennessee. So
the only thing he misses is Texas A&M. That's it.
Yeah, even if Jose's season 34 may be ruined, he's got a great chance to go out and ruin somebody else's. So you can bet he's going to show up every week and try to take down anybody and everybody he can.
Here's the funny thing. We thought Andy had a bad year at Georgia last year. Andy's record might be better. I mean, seriously.
Very sure. This is it's no shade to Jose. This is a tough schedule. He could be in a battle to make a bowl, honestly.
For sure.
Props to him for scheduling up, though. A lot of guys won't. He didn't duck anybody, so good for him, man.
Yeah, nobody can dog him for that. That's for sure.
What's great about video game football is it's not like you can quote unquote lose your locker room, right, in the video game. So like Jose's going to be a tough out every time you play someone. Does that make sense? Even if he's like struggling, like let's say he's playing in a big game and he's 3-3, 4-4. It's not like you're going to have a team that gave up on their coach or something, right? Like he's going to go out and be a good player regardless. So that's why video game football is a little different, obviously, in real life, to where like Georgia, like you don't want to play Georgia if you have a playoff spot on the line week 12. Like, even if they have a tougher record, like they're going to be a pain in the ass to play. So, yeah, kudos to him, I guess, for scheduling like that. But at some point, you got to maybe reel it back if you're interested in hanging on to the team.
Quick question.
I didn't even know he played Clemson. That's crazy.
Yeah. Fired Up Chip just mentioned in the chat, he said Jumper loss cost him the team. And I hadn't even really thought about that. I mean, Georgia's a hard team to keep to begin with. So I guess my question there would be, too, is if you do go out and he does struggle the rest of the way, it's going to be hard to pick up a lot of season success points. I mean, Jose could go from the number 2 draft pick position to a bottom of day 1 pick almost, it seems like.
He could be. He's staring more at a day 2 pick, honestly. I mean, at this point, I haven't done the math, but knowing what their win goal must be, he might even if he runs the table, it might be close.
Well, Missouri State will obviously take him back.
Yeah. Well, it's simple math. If he makes his points, he's going to be a high day 1 pick just because of how high, how many points he has to get. So it's either going to be high day 1 or, top of day 2 probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Math.
I know.
All right. What do you guys think? You want anything more on the top 25, or are you guys pretty good with your instant reactions there?
Just get on my little soapbox and say look at your poll hard each week. Don't be afraid to mix it up. Don't just cut and paste. Please put some thought into it. Let's make it interesting.
Yep. I'm with you. Rank a G5, you cowards.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see. So we're one block into it, yeah?
Yeah.
I know we've started to talk a little bit about it already, but as far as block one goes, any big game results or small game results that surprised you? What do you fellas think about block one and what stood out to you? Penguin?
You go, Pat.
Okay. Pat, sorry.
I'll let Pat start.
Yeah, I mean, I already touched on the first thing, which was the Miami Notre Dame game. So kudos to those two guys. They put on just a fantastic football game for everybody to watch. It was really exciting all the way down to the end. And I hate Notre Dame in real life, so you just find yourself rooting for whoever's playing against them. So kudos to them. And then really the only other surprise, I would have to say, besides the two leads that we saw squandered in some big kind of marquee games, and that was, I don't know if you guys saw the Illinois-Louisville game, but Illinois had a huge lead. Louisville comes back, and then Illinois closes the gap, and then obviously Georgia and Baylor. Georgia, if you guys tuned in late, if you came in the third quarter, you're like, oh, he's losing. He was up 21-0 with like a minute left in the first quarter. Georgia was, and you just wonder. Like, you got to slow down when you get a lead sometimes. It's okay, and he just kept ripping it and causing, and Baylor was causing turnovers, and it got out of hand quick.
It made my head hurt to watch him scramble with who's the white boy quarterback at Georgia? I don't even know. Stockton, some country club name, yeah. I just feel like you're just asking for pain using him like that, and that's what happened.
Yeah, and he threw some picks, and Jumper's just going to keep, it's like a boxing match. He's just going to lean on you with pass.
Yeah, we can't get lost in there. The credit to Jumper to go down 21-0 and not even blink. I mean, you could tell it didn't. I mean, granted, he's a gunslinger, so he's going to be coming out that way regardless of the score. But I mean, it didn't affect him at all. He didn't start forcing throws. He just fired and came back and dominated really the rest of the way. But anyway, as far as my takes on the first block, some things that really stood out to me. Speaking of statement wins, how about the Oklahoma Sooners and Mort going in, really sending a message versus a loaded Texas Tech team? And they, frankly, kind of bullied them for the most part there and ended up winning by a couple of touchdowns. You got to wonder after that statement, just where exactly is Oklahoma going to fit in the SEC race? Because I mean, I had good expectations for what Mort could do there, but he definitely exceeded what I thought I'd see out of him, especially the first game out of the bat versus such a tough opponent. So I got to think now that he very well may be a major player, maybe fill that vacuum where we thought Georgia might be. And then one where an SEC team didn't get it done. How about those Kansas State Wildcats getting that big win versus the Vols? I mean, that's a team 2-0 start. That big rivalry win over my loved Iowa State Cyclones. Kansas State could be setting themselves up for something special. But this next block for them, Rutgers and LSU, I don't know. We'll see where they are after that. But, I mean, so far, so good.
Well, Pat, that's if LSU plays this block, right? No, I'm just kidding.
No, he did. I told him I was going to make fun of him, and he did not take it well before the show, so I'm not going to comment on
it. I just had to throw it out there. Hey, sorry, Penguin. Hey, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to two teams that I think were getting a lot of love before we started the year that didn't have great blocks. Obviously, we've already talked about Georgia. BYU, another team that goes 0-2 in the first block. A 3-point loss at Georgia Tech. I think we can all say steam at Georgia Tech's going to have a good year. And then losing to DeCane at Vandy. But just kind of shocked to see, Ryan had a good year last year at Tulsa. And then to start 0-2. Also, Washington, man, Drewski was getting a lot of love before during cup games and scrimmage and stuff like that. People were talking him up. and he took an early loss. I was going back through my list here to TCU. Um, there. But, Pat mentioned a couple of those games. I think Brady at App State's going to have a good year, and he lost a close one at Arkansas.
Mhm.
And then, Mort, to your point a minute ago, Mort's a guy that had a good year last year at Maryland. And, I think about this a lot of time. When you give a guy, even Jose, right, who had a good year last year, now you give him a more talented team. How's that going to move forward for him? I think that Mort's going to have a really good year because he was a good player at Maryland in a tough Big Ten. I think he's going to be really good in the SEC, even though it's absolutely loaded.
That's an interesting point you make there, and I wonder if perhaps given that Mort was in a spot where he's playing teams better than him consistently, and then now this season is more on even footing versus Jose. While he had a weak team last year, he was really playing other weak teams all season long. So I wonder if that, in a way, kind of gave him a little bit of false confidence almost, and didn't prepare him as well as maybe he thought he was.
No, I think there's something to that for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, that was one of the most impressive teams I saw the first block.
Cautionary tale for people looking to make a run, that it's better to get a season in with fighting some big boys with a lesser team to get yourself ready to make that run.
And here's the other thing. I'd be interested to know what you guys think about this. I was thinking this as I went through my rankings. I think last year, even early on, there was probably a very top echelon of teams we thought could win the whole thing. And I feel like now, yeah, they're still the top teams, but I feel like there's a lot more parity maybe in the middle, right, than there has been, than there was last season, at least, in my opinion, early on. I think all the team movement, so many new coaches at new teams and new conferences and new schedules, like, I think it may take longer for the pack to separate a little bit. We were talking about the real, the playoff and how that's going to affect when we get down to 10, 11, 12. Last year, I think really there was only 3 or 4 teams in those last couple of spots for the mix. And I think this year we could be back to like 2 seasons ago where there was a lot of teams you could possibly slot in there if it goes the way it did the first block, just in my opinion.
There's definitely the right talent at the right teams for me to believe a scenario like that we could get to the end and that the playoff committee has literally 10 teams that are deserving for the last spot or two with the way things could fall. That certainly could happen, and I do not envy those people, and I apologize in advance for my impassioned, spirited takes, which will likely happen as is custom.
Guys, I think Texas Tech was already brought up, but like they're one of my biggest ones. That's a surprise, not even a slight against Mort. I had no horse in that game anyway, but that Texas Tech squad is loaded, and Wilds is a great coach, but for whatever reason, he always has a stumbling block somewhere in the regular season and puts himself on that playoff tightrope a little earlier than he'd probably like. But I mean, I guess I would have to say if there's any team for me sitting here early on with one loss that probably will still be there at the end, I still think Texas Tech. I mean, he's got to play Petty this block. That's a big one.
Huge game.
That's the biggest one that I see left on the schedule, to be honest with you. Again, he's got
his schedule lightens up big time, like big time.
Right.
I think the lesson to take away here is that when you get ready to start with the season, you should start with a lighter breakfast, and that eating a full Domino's pizza before a game, just you're going to lose a step. You have to hold that off till after the game, not beforehand. So, I mean, maybe that change to the training regimen might help him out in the future.
What about the G5? I was just going through that quick. I mean, seeing who's obviously Boise State's still undefeated. I mean, it's early, but do you guys think, just off the top of your head, is a gut feeling, not a real like in-depth analysis, you think we'll have an undefeated G5 at the end of the season, or do you think we're going to be looking at a bunch of one losses and having to really nitpick at the G5 group?
Well, I think we'll have to nitpick because I think the schedules aren't going to be very strong. But I said this, I wasn't on the show last week, but I sent it in. I think Buffalo, man, I think Andy at Buffalo is going to be really good. It's going to be hard for him not to go 12-0. The problem for him is going to be the schedule. I don't think is super strong. And so when we get here as a one loss, let's say East Carolina's one loss and Buffalo's undefeated. or other teams, that we're talking about, a Memphis or an App State or whatever, then it's going to be hard to put Andy in maybe over those guys. But I think he's got a real shot to go 12-0.
Yeah,
that is a good team with a good user, so I could definitely see that happening. Yep.
He didn't boost his schedule by picking me at week 1, but he got the victory nonetheless. But he does, though. I mean, you talk about G5 schools and how you can ride a couple players to a great season. Buffalo has a 92 overall middle linebacker with ridiculous speed, and he's badged up. Like that will be. Yep. We already know that Andy's good on offense. Like Pat said, he just, like a boxing match, he'll dink and dunk you all the way, and just you got to absorb the blows. But now he has a difference maker on defense too, and we know that's always been his weaker point. So maybe he can ride that stud in the middle there to a MAC title and a G5 playoff spot. We'll see.
I'm going to say it again. I said it before. I am all in on the East Carolina Pirates. I believe in I think the good mojo and good vibes of his contributions and everything he does, and being back to this team there, I think the stars have aligned. The gods will bless him, and the Pirates are going to have a glorious, glorious season. That's my pick, and I'm sticking to it.
I like it.
Don't let me down.
I'll still have my eye on Memphis. I believe he had a close loss to Mississippi State, which isn't a bad deal if you see who the owner of the team is. The AAC is always an interesting conference. I do believe East Carolina and Memphis square off later in the year, so that'll kind of be my playing game. And then you have to keep your eye on Boise. He beat Arizona State at Arizona State. He's undefeated right now. He beat Sammy in Western Kentucky, and now he's hosting ourselves, which we're both ranked, so that could be like a big win. I've watched him play. I've never really watched him in the past, and he's a very good player. So I think you got to keep your eye on him as well, 100%.
Yeah. He's also got Oklahoma on there as well. So
yeah.
I mean. And if Boise runs the table, there's absolutely it doesn't matter at all what anyone else does, because I mean that schedule. Even if Utah and Oklahoma were to have very poor latter parts of the season, I don't care. Those teams are still super talented. Yeah, so I definitely admire the schedule Boise put together. That's the schedule of a team that wants to test themselves, but unfortunately there's no Gene T on that roster, so we'll see.
There's not. I'm looking forward to playing him. I don't know if I've ever played him in the history of being here in 20 years, so I'm excited to play him. It should be fun.
Unfortunately, neither of those games are on the blue turf, though.
No,
they are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we already have our uniforms picked out, so it doesn't clash. Here in Salt Lake.
Are you go full red versus full blue, or
color rush?
Yeah. And, I actually coached a high school game in California against a school, Chaminade, who had blue turf, and it's absolutely the most obnoxious, ridiculous thing on the planet. It really is. It feels ridiculous when you're out there.
Poll question then, Pat. A random ranking like we do on Drunk on Downs. You got gray turf at Eastern Michigan. You got red turf at Eastern Washington, and you got the blue turf. 1, 2, and 3.
Best to worst?
Like like what you wouldn't want, the worst to play on to the easiest to play on.
The gray would be the easiest to play on, and the red would be the worst to play on.
That's what I would
for sure. Yeah. I don't even understand the gray. Like, just put the.
You just feel like you're playing on dead grass.
Yeah, exactly.
You might even forget it's gray.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Eastern Michigan wanted it, but Max Crosby paid for it, so they probably didn't have a choice to not accept.
Oh, there you go.
He's the type of dude, if he shows up here, take this, you're doing this. You're like, yes, sir. Okay.
That's funny. Oh, Lord. So let's see here. That's anything else on the block 1 recap, boys, or we think we've covered that pretty well?
I would like to touch on one more thing, and you touched on your show last night, Drew. The Big Ten is by far and away the best that it's been since we've returned. It is nasty. I don't know if your hot take is accurate that 6 teams will make it from there. I don't even know how that's mathematically possible. I'd have to sit down and look at it. However, look at this conference. You have Michigan at 2-0 with Sargent Zid or whatever it is, who's made the playoff
Yes,
two
Zid.
consecutive seasons or maybe even 3. You have a returning champ. You have Smitty. You have Nadog at Illinois, who had a great comeback win against Louisville. You have Big Mike at Indiana. You have Metro D, a 2-time playoff competitor in our playoff at Michigan State. That is alma mater, by the way. You have Oregon. You have, by the way, hey, Rutgers coach, 35 someone. Who do they replace him with? A 4-time playoff competitor, MJ Kemp, is at Rutgers. Drewski we talked about. And then you have Cruising, who has 0 games played, who some people say is very, very good. I mean, the conference is absolutely loaded. It's about time. It's about time, because the last 2-3 seasons, it's been an absolute embarrassingly easy conference. And now it is very difficult. So kudos to all those guys and good luck. I'm excited to watch that carnage.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
I am not excited about watching that carnage, by the way.
I was hoping you'd jump in here.
We do believe your opinions possibly be biased.
Well, I was actually I'm looking at the standings and Pat's running down the names, and then he got to Oregon and Rutgers, and then Iowa was next, and he just went on down to 4 or 5 spots down. Fair enough. Fair enough. I did win a game though, week 1. I'm just saying, it took me a lot longer than that last year.
J Hub, I got a question. Last night on the show, so we do a reader mailbag, and one of the submissions we got for a bold prediction was J Hub makes a bowl game with Iowa. So if that were to happen, what's the path to that, bud?
Oh gosh! First off, I don't think there is one. I'm gonna have to steal one on the road at Arizona this week. First off, and then let's see, that would be 2. I mean, it would have to be Wisconsin, Minnesota. It's not happening. Forget no. I mean, my win goal is 5, and I'm gonna have to hope so. I mentioned this in the chat to somebody this week. Like, y'all piss some people off so they quit or something, or let's have Smitty beat somebody by 36, or Shell beat somebody by 36, and that gives me a shot. But and then don't replace them. This will be the year, kind of like what they did to Pat last year, where you replace somebody with a great owner, and then or a great coach, and then they're out again a week later. But
yeah, that
would be my luck.
Yeah, that's a tough road to hoe, sir.
No shame in stumping for a sim win either. I had to ride 2 sim wins to avoid a defeated season in season 30. So I'm all about pining for a sim win if you need to.
And apparently Chip wants me to die in a fire or something. I don't know. That's some AI video about that. My running back breaks.
That really happened.
Whatever. No, 6 wins. That's not happening. Whoever sent that question in, you're just trying to troll me at this point.
That's funny.
Love it.
Well, hey, I know Jeremy is glad he's making time to be with us. If people don't realize, he is at a basketball tournament right now, and I know he's a little short on time. So we're going to jump right into our picks on the show. And our first game of the week is the SMU Ponies at the Wisconsin Badgers. Coach Block travels to Camp Randall to take on RB. And with popular demand, because someone brought it up to Tim that I didn't do the fun facts the first week, it's because sometimes I thought they lingered on quick. So what I'm going to do is choose one game a week. That way we don't run out of things. But this time I interviewed the 2 coaches. And so for starters, we're going to start with our buddy Block M over there at SMU. We'll start with the away team. His favorite movie, great choice, Inception is Block M's favorite movie. His favorite NDL memory of all time, I asked him about. He said he trailed the real D-Ray and Louisville 27-3 at halftime back in season 30, and he stormed all the way back and won 39-27. That's Block M's favorite NDL memory. I'm surprised it's not the debates in the live chats, but I digress. How he found the NDL. My story is the typical league daddy story. Found it browsing. What a vague answer from our buddy Block M. For those of you that don't know, League Daddy was a source of where leagues were hosted. way back in the day for some people who are new. So check that out sometime, even though I think it's archived. I'm not sure. Can you even access League Daddy anymore, Penguin?
Let me find out.
Okay. He works as a data analyst at DraftKings, which is really cool. And his favorite video game outside of NCAA is going to be Arc Raiders. I keep hearing about this game. Do any of you boys play it? No. Okay, beautiful. His favorite vacation is Palos Verdes, Redondo Beach. It was the very first time he saw the ocean in person. I have been to both of those locations probably over 500 times, and I could agree they're absolutely breathtaking when you go for your first time. He is 37 years old, lives in Detroit, Michigan, and earned an AAS and a BCS from Baker College. So that is our SMU Ponies Block M, and he's going to be taking on RB Fitness, whose favorite movie of all time is also a great choice. He has Ocean's 11 as his favorite movie. Have you guys seen all of the Ocean's movies, 11, 12, and 13?
Yeah, let's. We should probably ignore number 8. That one doesn't count, but the rest.
I didn't even know there was an 8.
You're missing nothing.
Okay. I've seen 11, 12, and 13. The 13 one was a little mad, but it was cool that it was in Vegas because we all love Vegas. Favorite NDL memory for RB is beating my big bro, Marion County, in the NDL Cup in season 31. To admit to calling him your big bro is a little embarrassing. And he put that'll be the only time it will ever happen. LOL. Now, this was great. His favorite person to play, which, by the way, I asked Block M that, and he didn't respond, which I thought was hilarious because I also said least favorite person to play, and he just skipped that question. Favorite person to play is going to be Razorback for RB. He said the games are always close, and it is a quote-unquote textbook NDL game, whatever that means. And then his least favorite person to play is a gentleman goes by the name of D. Kane. His response, good dude, sim player, just don't like playing him for some reason, were his exact words. So you'll have to ask him about that on your own sometime.
Could be taken as a compliment.
Maybe. I don't think so, the way it was written, though. It says, how did you hear about or find the NDL? NCAA 07 public lobbies. Not sure who it was, but they put a message in the lobby to check out the website, and of course I did. I asked him what he does for work. Now, this was he recently gave his 10-year journey as a sales director in professional sports, quit it out, and he's about to get in the medical device industry. So good for you. That is a great industry to be in, as I am in it as well. Be ready to deal with some egomaniacs, though, for sure. Favorite game to play outside of NCAA? OG Warzone. I mean, we can all say that was simpler times with the boys, right? During COVID, log it in. Yeah, absolutely. And then he is a new Arc Raider guy as well. His favorite vacation of all time was Europe last fall, specifically Porto, Portugal. I do think it's funny that he said Europe last fall. Did not mention, I'm pretty sure he proposed to his fiance on that trip, but hey, no mention of that. Hometown, Port Washington, Wisconsin. He got his degree from Lakeland University in Wisconsin, and RB is a whopping 33 years old. As far as my pick, this one was the hardest one for me to decide who I wanted to pick. And so much so that I actually forget who I picked, who I sent in.
Would you like me to tell you?
Yes, please.
You picked RB and the Wisconsin Badgers.
You're damn right I did. And I think RB wins it. He's going to run the ball and play just a little bit better defense. And Camp Randall is a tough place to play. So give me RB late in the game with a walk-off field goal.
It's a fun pick. It's a fun pick, but it's wrong. So it's sad. Or you want to go next, Hubbard?
No, you go ahead, bro.
Okay, all right, I got it. Yeah, no, that's not the way it's gonna go. Those SMU ponies and Block are it's a high-powered offense, and even though they're missing some pieces in this new season from last year, they're gonna smack the Badgers around. They're gonna go into that home environment. RB is gonna put up a fight, but it's gonna be a stampede, and I've got SMU by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm going to go with SMU also. I think that the talent level is pretty sizable gap. I will say this: going to Camp Randall's tough. I mean, that is a tough place to play. And somebody in the chat mentioned jump around. I don't know if that'll really have as much of an impact on it in as it would in real life. But man, it is a tough game, Pat. I'm with you, but I'll think I'll go with the Mustangs also.
Don't let me down, RB.
Drew, you should give us picks for these games too.
I'm gonna go. So
we'll just put it under the guest category.
Yes, sir.
Here you go. I'll go ahead and throw another selfish, shameless plug for Drunk on Downs. Come on over and listen, boys. It's a good one. So we talked about this last night. Pat, he already mentioned my boldest of predictions: 6 Big Ten teams in the playoff. I had another bold prediction that was dependent on no 6 Big Ten teams in the playoff, but I'm going SMU here because my next bold prediction was that Block M and SMU will take an at-large bid to the CFP. So, I know everybody knows me and Block aren't the best of friends, but I don't care. I still respect everybody here, and we'll set aside any opinion. I was looking at the schedule; it is manageable. He has a great quarterback in Kevin Jennings. He has a stud running back. And he's a solid player, right? I don't have his records in front of me. I do not believe he's finished under 500 since we came back. He may not have any 10-2 seasons or great records there, but he is a solid coach. RB is a solid coach too, but I just think that SMU with the skill positions, he can probably go out and score one more touchdown, if you will, whatever it may be. But I'm going to go SMU here.
Love it. So our next game is going to feature a team that's been involved in a lot of excitement already this year in the Baylor Bears. Big games where they came up just short versus Indiana, and then a huge win over the Georgia Bulldogs. And they're going to be heading down to Tallahassee to take on my favorite Florida State Seminoles, who got smacked around pretty good by the Michigan Wolverines earlier in the season. Now, this is Baylor's first trip on the road this year, so that could be a factor. We hear home field advantage can really impact some games, I'm told. It's allegedly. But this Baylor offense, as much as they say defense and running travels best, I think the way that Baylor throws the ball and jumper there is going to be the exception to the rule. And while it breaks my heart, I don't think the Noles faithful are going to have much of an impact on what the Baylor offense brings. And I fear this one. No disrespect to Shoddy Mack, he's a fine coach, but I fear this one may get ugly. And I think the Bears will name their score in this one.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I was kind of shocked that this was on our list because I had to double check, right? Like, should it not be a blowout, right? I think Baylor is a better team. And Florida State may have a chance because they're at home. If they were in Waco, I mean, that's the top 2 or 3 home field advantage, I guess, in the game. They would really have no shot. But I'm with you. I'm going Baylor. I think the Bears win this one pretty big too.
Yeah, I'm with Jeremy. I have no idea why this was chosen as a game of the week. I think Baylor wins handily. That's all I have to say about it. It's gonna Shoddy Mack he's a good player. He's a little reckless. I played him a few times. He's one of these offensive players that chooses a play like really quick, and I don't know if there's a ton of thought that goes in behind it, and that's why he can be a little reckless. I think jumper in Mike's game when it could have gone either way, and I still think I think Baylor makes the playoff this year. So give me Baylor, and again, no offense to anyone. I don't know how this game even made the list of game of the week. Not to sound like a jerk, but yeah, give me Baylor.
Yeah, I'll round it out with the same pick. I will say I was surprised to see Baylor put up another game in the 20s and go out and lose. Again, I mean, Big Mike and Indiana, that's nothing to be ashamed of there. But Florida State isn't Indiana's talent roster this season in this game. And I'm not sure, again, like Pat just said, that Shoddy Mack fully is on Mike's level. So I think there's a definite difference there. Obviously, Jumper is gettable. He got by Homie last year and Big Mike already this year, but I think Baylor by 21 plus probably.
Yeah. It's a little bit of styles of play too, and we know what style you need to deal with Jumper, and Johnny Mac isn't it, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. So our next game is interesting, right? Because the king of the MAC, Chip, and the Central Michigan Chippewas are going to be taking on the Michigan Wolverines. You know, last year's Michigan season wasn't great. This year they're off to a 2-0 start. You know, I think the interesting thing about Chip is he's not afraid to play anybody. Last year we saw him beat Michigan State, probably cost Michigan State a spot in the playoff. But I don't think it's going to be enough this time. I think that Sergeant Zit, as Pat calls him over there at Michigan, is going to have a really good year. I think you know you were talking about the Big Ten earlier, and I'm not just saying this because I'm in the Big Ten, even though I'm at the underneath the cellar of the Big Ten. But I think Michigan's going to have a good year, and I think Chip will keep it close as long as he can. But I'm going to have to go with the Wolverines here in this next one.
Yeah, I mean, Chip should have lost to Texas State last night. I know the game or the score hasn't been reported if you guys didn't see it, but I tuned in for a quick minute while I was cooking some dinner, and I believe Chip went down and won on one of the final drives. And I don't know if you guys got to see the live chat, but he is in the team stat page. He is rapping "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. It's in the live chat. Please go find it. It is outstanding. He is going to be someone's primary physician one day, and he is rapping word for word "Lose Yourself" on the mic in the game stat section. It's great that you can rap, but Michigan is so good in this game, and Sergeant Zoot has proven he can play, and I think this is going to be ugly. The Michigan defense, I believe, is like a 92 overall. They have two unreal linebackers. They have a great free safety and an unreal D-line, and they are just going to manhandle Central Michigan. 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. If this game was at the Chippewas home stadium, maybe Chip could wrangle some magic because, I mean, he's a good player. And, you know, that close game versus Michigan State at Sparty last week was, you know, I mean, it's not a good thing to lose, but he definitely gave us a reminder of what he can do, even though he came up short. But like you guys said, Michigan's defense, and you're doing this on the road, I mean, the turnovers are going to flow. They're inevitable. And the only way you're not turning it over is if you're literally just running the ball and covering it up, and then you're just punting a lot. So Michigan is literally going to have to give the game away to lose this one, unfortunately. I hate to say it because Chip's a great coach, but Wolverines, big.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, Sergeant Zoot, he was at Louisville. Is that correct? I'm not mistaken on that, right? That was his
correct.
Yeah, I mean, he did good things at Louisville. I think Sergeant Zoot might make that next step here at Michigan. I'm same as you boys. Michigan in a runaway. Again, that's no disrespect to Chip, but Sergeant Zoot and that Wolverines roster is just too talented. And again, my prediction was 6 Big Ten teams in the playoff. I think Sergeant Zoot's going to be one of them. So I look for him to have a pretty good season here. He's gonna start it off here in Block 2 against Chip with a big win.
Yeah, clean sweep there, I would imagine.
Yes,
this next game, guys, I'm very much looking forward to the backyard brawl. Between Pitt and West Virginia. I really like watching this game in real life every year. They do not like each other, and it's one of those games. I love watching a football game when the camera is shaking because the place is so loud and going nuts. That's how you know the place is absolutely energized. You see that in this game all the time on TV. They do not like each other. They both wear blue and gold. I think it's an elite uniform game. I wanted to pick my guy Vic, but unfortunately, Dealer is one of the most slept-on coaches in the league. He's another one like DeCane. When he had Miami, that was not an easy team to keep, and he continued to win big games. And Pitt has absolute talent in this game. They're a very hot commodity team after kind of in the draft as kind of the bigger teams go. Pitt is a team that a lot of people want to try because of the team speed and those linebackers. So give me, yeah, absolute studs. I played them in a scrim, and those guys are tough to block, and I have one of the best O-lines in the game. So, give me Pitt in a defensive. He's going to stack the box and try to stop Vic's powerful running back. But I just think Pitt wins in a tight one. So give me Pitt in this.
This is a game not to be missed. I think this is going to be highly entertaining. Vic's going to be creative and attacking. And I think that being at home is going to be a factor that's going to tip the scales in this one. Both teams have playmakers, and the coaches are, guys that with a little bit of luck could make a playoff run or to run to the playoffs, so to speak. But it's at home. I think Pitt, those linebackers are kind of special, and I see one of them maybe making a big hit or making a pick or a fourth down stop, and the Pitt defense with a big play to win the game.
Okay, well, it scares me here because both of you guys went with Pitt, and I'm going to roll with my boy Vic. Okay,
Nice.
I know there's a lot of people that played him early on before the season got started and scrimmages and stuff like that are really high on how Vic is playing. I haven't played Vic in a while, especially since he got West Virginia. But he did good things with Sam Houston. He's been a guy that's won some games, and I think it's his second year with West Virginia, right? So he knows his team a little bit and what he can do and how they operate. I think there's some value in that, and so great. I'm going against the crowd here. Vic, don't let me down.
Yep. I see this game pretty similar to you guys. I'm just looking at team crafters here. We know Jaheim White at West Virginia, but Dealer's got a pretty good running back in Desmond Reed, and he's got a good quarterback in Eli Holstein. Penguin mentioned his linebackers too. There's some nice defensive pieces. My inclination is to lean Pitt, but at the same time, my guy Vic isn't going to go down easy. So I know that's going to be a tight one. I think that's easily a one-score game. And I do think that it will just come down to a critical mistake. I don't want to sound like Penguins repeater here, but just as in real life, good games come down to who doesn't make mistakes at critical points, right? So who can have a good third down conversion percentage this game? Who can avoid a costly turnover? Who can extend that drive just long enough to get into field goal range? Something like that. I think this will be a tight one. I think it'll be a fun one to watch. Pitt, Dealer. Sorry, Vic.
Can't wait to see it. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Moving along, we get to Hawaii versus Fresno State, which something I didn't know about this game till we picked it, and I'm doing just a little bit of research. They play for the Golden Screwdriver Trophy.
Ooh.
This is not a very old trophy. The inciting incident, in fact, is only all the way back, I believe, in 2002. Said when allegedly a fan of perhaps Fresno State, no one really knows, threw a screwdriver at then Hawaii coach June Jones, which, I mean, is a guy, if you know a lot about him, you can understand maybe someone throwing a screwdriver at him. Having said that, though, it is definitely one of the more curious trophies and stories to read out there. But it's actually the rivalry that Hawaii has played the most over the years, which is a fun trivia fact as well. Given that, you've got two coaches that are honestly more interesting than a Golden Screwdriver, though. You got Jeff Daddy, who's a legend both on the basketball court and on the sticks, and frankly, anywhere else that he chooses to be. On the other hand, you have Tutty at Fresno State. So rebounding from a rough season in Boulder, Colorado last year, and ready to cause some noise again. This game, I went back and forth a bit here, and in the end, I got a lot to like about both, but I think Tutty is going to bring just a little bit more, and he's going to be at home, and for that reason, I think Fresno State wins a game. The score is going to be in the 40s or 50s.
Wow. Yeah, thanks to BBB, man. I really love Jeff at Hawaii. I really enjoy watching him play and hearing him talk and those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if this was a for sure slam dunk, if Wobbles was back at Fresno, I'd 100% pick Wobbles, right? Because why not? I'm going to go Fresno anyway because I think Tutty is a good coach, and being in a tougher Mountain West than maybe people look at or would know just looking at it right off the top without doing some digging there. But I'm gonna go with Tutty and Fresno State. And you mentioned June Jones being a guy you'd want to throw a screwdriver at. He's not even probably the worst coach they've had. What about Jerry Glanville? That's probably a guy that needed to be
If it were
hit
Jerry
with a
Glanville, it would
screwdriver or
be for
two.
the golden chainsaw, So.
Okay, that's more fair. That's more fair.
That's funny.
I'm looking at the trench play here. I'm on Team Crafters. I'm just looking that up. Hawaii's just severely lacks anywhere in their front seven on defense, and their offensive line isn't great. Tutty, Fresno State over Hawaii. Final answer.
Yeah, I'm going to take Fresno State as well. Here's the deal. Jeff is a fantastic player, really good passer of the football. But unfortunately, and most of our viewers know, he is a basketball coach at a really high level program out in California. And this is the type of season or type of time of season when he really gets kind of held up in all of that. And I just think Tutty, who also coaches football, as we know, is now done with it. So you're having someone who plays the game more versus someone who plays the game less. As long as Tutty's quarterback doesn't murder anyone in the stands with how many balls he overthrows, I've scrimmaged him before, and it's pretty crazy how inaccurate the quarterback is. If he can reel that in, I think he wins by a couple scores here.
Yeah, listen, as a basketball coach, I can tell you, I scrimmaged last night for the first time in a week. It was not pretty, boys. So that's why the bowl game situation is not good. Hey, our last one this week is a really good Big Ten matchup that I'm pretty excited about because I was in the MAC last year with Nadog, who was at Akron, and got to play him. And then we scrimmaged even before last season. He's at Illinois now, who has a talented roster, right? That's a good Illinois team that I think last year, if MJ had stayed there, they're probably in the playoff mix more than likely. And then you got Big Mike, who moved over to Bloomington to take the Hoosiers. And I got to be honest with you, we'll pull the curtain back. I tried to convince Pat all leading up to the draft to take Indiana. Like I just felt like this is a Pat kind of team, a lot of defense, run the football. They got a good quarterback. I really like the Hoosiers here, and I think these are two really good coaches. The difference to me in this one is I think Indiana's roster is a little better. Okay, number one, and I think that Big Mike is just he knows how to win games, right? Like that's just kind of what he's done since he's been here. I'm going to go with the Hoosiers, but I think this is a really good Big Ten matchup early on. Where if Drew's talking about 6 Big Ten teams making it, whoever loses this game still is like, it's a loss. But unless they just get blown out, this is a Penguin's favorite phrase. This is a quality loss going forward.
Yeah, I just feel like in this one, it's going to come down to red zone efficiency, which these big kind of games always do, these big conference games. And watching Mike against Jumper, I thought his red zone efficiency was great because he's got this Hemby fella at running back who is an absolute monster in the game. Plus, he has Surratt out there on the outside, which is a huge red zone target. And then Mendoza, who is one of the Heisman favorites in real life. So offensively, I think he gets it done in the red zone. And then defensively, I just think he squeezes Illinois down and holds them to field goals instead of touchdowns because that Illinois team speed on offense is so poor. So give me Indiana here by a big win on the road by 10.
This is going to be a good matchup. Again, I was actually surprised, kind of looking at Illinois here. Credit to Brett Bielema in real life because that roster is a lot stronger than you would expect a normal Illinois roster to look like. So he's doing good things there. But yeah, at the end of the day, we just saw Big Mike go out and take down Jumper using defense as a main ingredient in there, holding him to 24 points, which is no easy task against the Jumper type. So I'm definitely going to roll with Big Mike in this one. But I will say that I think Nadog is a good coach. I think Nadog is going to make a name for himself. And despite losing here, I think he will challenge Big Mike, even if he loses by 10. It's still going to be a close game, start to finish. And Big Mike, he'll have to earn it. So I still look for Nadog to be competitive in the Big Ten and give people fits. But yeah, give me Big Mike in Indiana.
It's true. Nadog had a pretty good season last year and has built himself up into one of the, I guess less talked about up and coming coaches. He's had a lot of success. And you got to give Mike a lot of love for that win over Baylor. That definitely is a game that I wasn't shocked he won, but definitely surprised at how he controlled the game and won it in a not a terribly dramatic fashion at the end. Having said that, I think now is when Nadog in Illinois makes that name. I think he was playing at home. Indiana is a good team, but that defense is really boosted by a couple key stars. The overall depth is kind of And going on the road, I think that Illinois offense is going to do just fine. It's going to be a great game. The Illini get the win, get the upset, as some might say, over the Hoosiers.
I actually love that. I think, I'm not here to root for anybody or against anybody by any means. I think that would be an awesome result. Again, I'm just rooting for a good game. I hope to be able to tune in when that one goes down.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate you giving Illinois a pick, though, because I wanted somebody to dissent. I think those guys will put on a show regardless of the result. I'm excited for that one. But yes, two great coaches.
It was fantastic. Well, Drew, hey, I want to give you some love too for stepping up and helping out, stepping in and being a quasi-host and guest all in one. Just came off doing a marathon of an epic show last night for our viewing and listening pleasure. So, I mean, your legend only grows day to day in this league. So appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, Penguin. I know J-Hub, he had to jump off, guys. He said thanks for everything, and Pat, his phone just died as we were finishing up there. That's why he disappeared. But great show this morning. Was happy to step in for Tim. Sorry we didn't have all the normal graphics and the intro and everything for you, but we'll make sure we get that aligned. So if we got to fill in again, we can put on a full production. But we had a good show today. I thought I saw 31 viewers at one point, but we're still sitting at 27 now. So appreciate everybody joining in. A lot of chat going on there. So great show. As always, love talking to you, Penguin.
Hey, you too, sir.
All right, boys. Block 2 is open, right? I hope we see some good games today. I'll see y'all in the live chat. Penguin, I know you'll be there too.
Yes, sir.
All right, boys. Have a good one. Peace.